Welcome to a new daily top AskReddit video. Today's topic.
What's a Guinness World Record you don't think will ever be broken? Greatest number of extras used in a single movie scene. The record holder is 1982's Gandhi, which used 300,000 for a 10-minute funeral sequence. Most films now use CGI for crowds of that size. The Phantom Menace used Q-tips for the Podras crowd. By Adam Savage, no less. Longest time without sleep, since they no longer will certify this due to the danger it poses to the person attempting it. The record is 11 nights. Oof. I stayed awake through 2 nights, 54 hours, in college getting ready for senior year finals. When I started hallucinating some bizarre things appearing at my window, I hit the pillow. Dumbest thing I ever did in college. During my first army enlistment, I was up for about 72 hours conducting the final phase of field training exercise, after action review, movement out of the field, wash all the vehicles, wash all the equipment, clean and turn in weapons. I went back to the barracks, washed my face and hands, then sat down in my bunk to take off my nasty clothes and shower. I woke up 15 hours later. Evidently I got my uniform off and curled up under a poncho liner. I don't remember that part. I had to wash my blankets and linen as I was rank, and that smell was on everything. The tallest man in the world at 8 feet 11. Pituitary gland issue that is almost always fixed before people get too tall. Robert Wadlow. Remember reading about him as a kid nearly 50 years ago. Yes, that's him. I remember seeing a photo of him in the old 1994 Guinness World Record book that I had. He was tall. The longest javelin throw record is considered unbreakable because the javelin was redesigned in 1986 to make it harder to throw long distances. Basically, people could almost throw it into the crowd. Given athletics have to fit within the 400 meters track, there is an upper limit to those sports. That's because no one has been brave enough to throw a javelin like Lamar Luttrell. Aside from the joke, there was actually a different style that reached further, but it was even more dangerous and had to be banned. https://www.youtube.com/watch?v=ul6dcl2voc. Longest fingernails. I can still see the image of that dude from when I used to buy the books at school during the book fair. They were yellow, fearful. I am imagining this, and it makes me want to vomit. Nauseated face vomiting. Who in their right mind would let their nails grow until they get long and hideous looking? Oops, did I just destroy you? In an episode of Wild Boys, Steve-O drank beer poured down that guy's fingernails. Truly disgusting. Longest hiccup streak, 68 years of hiccups. That's just cruel. I had the hiccups for 6 months once. 68 years would be absolute torture. I just have to say 6 months would also be torture. I bet the anxiety at the end when it stopped about it coming back again was nuts. Since it stopped after 6 months, do you still get normal hiccups or do you still have some extended hiccup stretches? Fattest animals. Because they stopped after people just fattened up their cats. Fastest speed on water, 511.11 kilometers per hour, 317.59 miles per hour, set in 1978 by Ken Warby. The record has been set or attempted to be set 13 times since the 1930s, with 7 of those attempts ending in death. Ken is a member of the 500 km per hour club. He will be the only human in recorded history to belong in the club. The only one, specifically on water. Any of the records involving alcohol consumption. The editors stopped accepting new claims related to alcohol consumption to discourage people from poisoning themselves trying to outdrink previous record holders. It's like how my fraternity had to ban breathalyzers with a digital display. Is that also the same with Fattest human records? Fastest boat has stood since the 1970s. 'Cause everyone who tries to beat the record dies. Perhaps 317 miles per hour is fast enough for a boat. The record holder's son is building a boat to beat it. He has hit approximately 280 miles per hour. I don't think many realize how hard it is to go 38 miles per hour more. It's really hard. Roy Sullivan being struck by lightning 7 times. That guy had skills. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name. Fuck Guinness for reinstating Billy Mitchell's cheated Donkey Kong record. Absolutely agree, it makes no sense. That dude is a prime candidate for a cock punch. The youngest monarch. Both Alfonso XIII of Spain and Jean I of France became kings upon birth, but you don't see many monarchies anymore. You can't really get much younger than birth either. It just turns into a race to see how quickly you can crown them. Preferably while they're crowning. Cannonball Run challenge in 25 hours completed in 2021. It was mostly possible due to the COVID shutdown effect on traffic, so we may never see such optimal conditions again, hopefully. This might not be a Guinness record but definitely should be. Yup, won't ever be broken. I think they made it out of NYC in something stupid like 8 minutes. That's a good one. I remember reading this and being like, God damn, they really did it during COVID. I used to have a slight obsession with the Cannonball Run and now I don't even think about it since I agree it's kinda over. Same, watched all the documentaries and read the books. Dreamed of doing it myself one day, but it's basically done. Barring another event which clears the roads, it's just impossible. Feels a bit like they cheated though. Several baseball records won't be beaten due to the way the game is played now, one of the big ones being Cy Young's winning record. No pitcher will ever match that because they don't pitch every day anymore. No other player has even come close. That record has stood for over 100 years. A lot of records concerning complete games pitched will likely never be broken. A starter pitching 9 innings went from the norm 60 years ago to a rarity that the best pitchers only achieve a few times per season now. Yeah, any complete games record is untouchable. 33 complete games in a single season. All pitchers combined in Major League Baseball had 24 complete games in 2024. Iron Maiden, defined as lying between 2 beds of nails with additional weight on top. After the most recent record was set, Guinness said they would accept no more records. Something about lying between beds of nails with additional weight on top being potentially dangerous. There are holes in your story. Cool. I saw Iron Maiden and thought it would be something about my favorite band. I mean, all the records for being first are by definition unbreakable. Neil Armstrong will always be the first to walk on the moon. That's what you think. Just wait until Uncle Rico and I get the crystals aligned just right on the time machine. He's gonna win state. The longest fingernails lol. Guinness Book will never top whatever its peak popularity was. As a reference book, definitely not. That became largely irrelevant when everyone started carrying the entirety of the internet in their pocket. But that's not really their main game anymore. They're just selling record certifications as PR stunts now. So most of the answers to OP's question would be all the highly specific records that Guinness tailor-made to promote some corporation, celebrity, or totalitarian regime, which they won't accept any other submissions for because someone paid them a bunch of money to get it. Like, most cans of pea soup arranged to recreate a tableau vivant, or something. To get everyone started, I don't believe the record for youngest person to swim the English Channel at 11 years 330 days will ever be broken. I'm having a son in March. Watch this space 2035. Tears of joy, tears of joy. Have him swim it in April 2025 to cement the title. Many of the over-eating records will never be beaten, as they no longer accept such submissions. Joey Chestnut has set so many world records for eating, 55, that he got his own record for number of records set. So probably that record will also never be beaten since nobody is going to set 56 different world records in random things. When I was younger, I would go to the Guinness website with friends and we would marvel at all the amazing things people could do. There was a little button at the top that said, "I'd like to break this record." And we would get into heated debates what records we could break and how we could train for them, or what nonsense record we could invent to get our 15 minutes of fame. Anyways, on one of these Guinness sessions somehow we stumble across the largest terrorist event with the most casualties, 9/11. My friend clicked the "I'd like to break this record" button, and that was probably the first time I made it onto a government watch list for my internet shenanigans. That is the kind of dark humor I can't help chuckling at. That one fight attendant that fell from like 30 feet 000 feet and survived. Which fight did they attend? Mile High Fight Club. Vesna Vulovic. Ms. Vulovic was working as a flight attendant on board JAT Yugoslav Airlines Flight 367 on January 26, 1972, when a suspected bomb brought down the plane among the mountains over Czechoslovakia. All 27 other passengers and crew died, but Ms. Vulovic survived. According to the BBC, the plane exploded mid-air, but Ms. Vulovic survived the 33,000-foot fall, the highest recorded fall without a parachute in aviation history. A team of investigators later said that she was trapped by a food cart in the plane's tail section as it plummeted to Earth. The tail landed in a snow-blanketed and forested area that was thought to have cushioned the impact, the outlet further said. Ms. Vulovic's screams were heard by Bruno Homke, a woodsman. She was taken to the hospital where she fell into a coma for 10 days. Ms. Vulovic suffered a fractured skull, 2 crushed vertebrae, and she also broke her pelvis, several ribs and both legs. "I was broken, and the doctors put me back together again," she told. Toxteth O'Grady is a double world record holder, maintaining as he does the world records for the largest number of marshmallows stuck up one nostril, 604, and the world's stickiest bogey. World's stupidest bottom bub, Rick, written. Thanks Vivian, all young ones' jokes get an upvote. The longest airplane flight is 64 days and 22 hours, will be interesting to see if anyone tries to beat that. That one was with in-flight refueling, they matched speeds with a fuel truck, so I see no reason why they couldn't. It just takes a while and is probably boring as fuck. Without refueling the record is 9 days. That's one I'd not encountered before. Over 2 months in Cessna. No thanks. Imagine the smell. I've been on a Spirit flight but this might be worse. In-flight refueling is very much a thing so the record could be beaten if anyone cared to do it. There's also designs for planes that are meant to be able to fly virtually indefinitely by using engines to get up and then charge them while gliding down. Considering we can also transfer power wirelessly using lasers, it's also possible one day we have satellites in orbit charge planes as they fly. It's a dangerous concept as using lasers for power transfer is essentially a weapon. You really need to hit the receiver, otherwise you're pretty much just attacking whatever you hit with a massive laser gun.